Uh-oh, what's that? It's a Doom mod. What's the name of it? Doesn't say, but I know what it is. It's Who Done It for Skulltag. What this is you have to hide from a guy with a knife. There's one guy with a knife, and you have to hide from him. That's what we're doing right now. We're checking out these vases. I mean, how could you not? But at some point, we're going to have to stop admiring this carpeting and hide from a guy with a knife. So, you've got the option of turning the lights on, or you can use my preferred setting, off. Did we just pick up a gun of some kind? That would aid us in our quest to avoid the guy with a knife, wouldn't it? Security camera. I'm presuming that's what... Okay. We just won, I guess. Sequoia Iji, okay. Little Japanese girl who fucked me up in All Out War 2. I guess I just can't escape from her. As you can see, when it comes to Skulltag excitement, you can't do any better than the Whodunit mod. WDI, incompetent. Next map, I'm looking forward to that. Unfortunately, this map uses 3D floors. And an unfortunate aspect of 3D floors is that when you use a software renderer, as I do, they aren't visible. I guess my strafe is really slow in this mod. It's probably to make it easier for a knife-wielding maniac to kill you. I guess it was just too much trouble for them to make sprites that weren't Doomguy. It's one of the keys of survival horror, is that your guy really isn't big and jacked with a gun. But Doomguy is. Or at least he's big and jacked without a gun, with brass knuckles. And he chooses to punch with the hand that doesn't have... Or no, he does have... He is going to punch you with his brass knuckles. But also with his left as well. That's alternate fire right there. So you hit the right button to punch with your left. To punch with your right hand, you left click. Let's go to the emergency room so that if we get stabbed, it'll be a short trip to the emergency room. Here we just walked through a wooden plank. Oh no, it's curtains. It'll be curtains for me if I get stabbed with a knife. It's a fucking keyhole, but we don't have the key. Or no, it's a public telephone. Who the fuck are we gonna call? Someone who's gonna save us from a guy with a knife? We should, but the game doesn't give us that option. Maybe it gave some kind of message that isn't visible in the software renderer. I'd like to get on that bike and ride off to somewhere where I'm not going to get stabbed with a knife, but I guess that option's not available either. Is this a rat? Can I kill it? I can't kill it with either of my fists. It wants to ride the bike too, but the game won't let it, and it makes it teleport back 3 steps from the bike. So far, we're avoiding the moiterer, which is the point of Whodunit for Skulltag. By the way, got rave, says one of these kids, and I don't understand the significance of that. Maybe someday I will. Now, you don't want to get close to these guys, because any one of them could be the axe or the knife-wielding killer. He's kind of looking at me like, hey, I'd like to stab that guy with my knife. He's eyeballing me pretty hard, and I wish he'd stop doing that. You know, the question of this game is who done it, and I think that might be that guy who's about to do it. He's about to do it. I know that it's him. He just made the swinging the knife sound. He's the murderer. And I have that same Photoshop brush set that lets you do the blood splash just like that. Why am I... Oh, that's bullshit. I can't believe that I got fucking killed by this guy. Now I know who the murderer is, and we're gonna follow him on his murderous spree of killing. I totally knew that it was him, too. It was quite obvious the way he was jocking me like that and trying to... oh, okay, so I didn't even have to jump across there, it turns out. That was one of the floors that is not modeled in the 3D modeler, the software modeler, that you need a 3D thing to fucking see. Hit him with a Molotov. I really don't want to see this murderer get away with anything more. I hope that he gets killed by one of the other... I feel a little cheated that I punched him about 3 or 4 times and it didn't really seem to do anything. I wonder if those Photoshop... And really, whenever you see blood splats in anything nowadays, it seems like they use that exact same brush set, the one that I have, which is from quite a few years ago. I actually used it for a couple of projects. When you're familiar with those brush patterns, you can tell where they're being used elsewhere. Here we've got a pretty exciting showdown between these guys in the whodunit mod. To be very quiet while they try to kill each other. Come on, you've got a Molotov cocktail. You cannot just throw it in his fucking face and kill him with that. But apparently this guy doesn't seem to want to do... I can't tell which one of these is the murderer that I should be following. The action centers around the murderer in All Out War 2, or not All Out War 2, but Whodunit, the mod for Skulltag engine. Soft classic rock hits. Soft rock for your evening commute home. Some constructive activity going on here as this guy tries to break into a vase and breaks the vase. Maybe this is supposed to be a model of Doomguy. It does take a lot of the horror out of the survival horror element of this game when you're Doomguy. I think we've mentioned that, and it does bear repeating. A couple of homos right here just kind of engaging in some sort of behavior that I can't quite understand. Oh wait, now this guy has the knife. Is he the new murderer? Does the murderer switch from moment to moment in this game? I'm not sure of exactly what's happening here. But it seems that we have another murderer, and he's hiding. Oh, I see. The reason why they have statues of Doomguy, so that you can pretend to be one of those statues, and then when an unsuspecting victim draws near, you can jump out and stab him with the Doomguy knife. So that is an option that I can definitely see the appeal of that. As you can see, there's nothing to indicate that you're in fact looking at a murderous knife wielder rather than just a statue. You would think that you were looking at a statue if maybe this fucking guy would stop moving and actually play stealth for like 2 seconds, but I guess he's not interested in that, and he's going to leave the room. He's gonna... Okay, so we're following him now. I guess this is supposed to be England. I think that they've done a good job modeling it. What little I know of England, it's very old and quaint in many ways, and they've certainly gone to great lengths to capture that here. The music just changed, and I think that signals the end of this round. I think that was pretty exciting, and I think that we could go ahead and do another one. Hopefully, we won't be one of those 2 victims, which we were in this round. And that's a little unfortunate, and when you think about it, should have done maybe a little better than that, considering there were only 6, and then 4 of them survived, but we did not. I guess he achieved some kind of ineffective, not much of an achievement. We're now in confinement by, well, I could have read the kid's name, but I took too long in doing so. So we're going to continue on, and maybe we'll be the murderer this time, and we'll be able to commit some murders in Whodunit, the modification for Doom, the Skulltag engine, which brings it into the 21st century with 3D looking, and well, the murder has been chosen, and I don't think that we have a knife, so I don't think that it's us. So once again, we're going to have to hide from the murderer, and I don't really see the value of hiding in this room. I don't think that that's going to prevent him from finding... Oh, this is one of those very narrow Doom staircases where you wouldn't think you'd be able to walk up that, but you'd be wrong, because you can walk up that. Okay, we're on a catwalk now. I know you really needed me to fucking tell you that. Sometimes I just have to fucking say what's going on the screen, and there's really no need for it, but we just do it anyway. I guess falling damage is part of this game, and once again, those Photoshop brush strokes show up on the screen to let us know that we've taken damage in Whodunit, the modification for the Doom skull tag engine. Now, honestly, if I was a murderous psycho, I would probably not look for anybody in here, but I can't speak for the guy who has this knife. Maybe he would. Maybe that's what he'd be thinking, that I would think that why would anyone go in here, and then he would know to look for me there. So we won't hide in that particular hole. But maybe we should have. Maybe we'll look back on that moment and think, why didn't we take advantage of that hole, as we so often think when it comes to taking advantage of holes that should have been taken advantage of, and in fact were asking us to take advantage of them, begging for it when you think about it. Moving right along, seems they've gone with a medieval theme here in this particular level for Whodunit, the modification for skull tag. There's a bit, I feel like either we were in this exact same room or one very similar to it. And perhaps that's what they've done to throw you off a little bit in this game. And I think that, and now since this staircase was here earlier and we passed it before, so it's a little unnerving when you've passed by the same landmark over and over again. I guess it's somewhat nerving, the opposite of unnerving, that we haven't been stabbed by a murderer. Now there was a click sound right there, which would seem to indicate that we picked up a weapon. We did, the lead pipe. I would say that if you have a lead pipe in a fight against a guy with a knife, that you would probably stand a better chance than with brass knuckles, which apparently are not very effective in Whodunit, the modification for skull tag. Perhaps if we run across this murderer, we'll see how much more effective it is to have the pipe. Kind of like the old Spy vs. Spy game for Nintendo Entertainment System, where you had fists and a knife, and the murderer, I guess, has grown to... Perhaps we're demoralizing the murderer by not letting him find us. I can't find any of the... Are there any other players? Is everyone AFK? Okay, there are 2 other people, so, somebody changed his name to Random Fag, displaying the typical level of maturity of a skull tag player. The murderer has been chosen, and it would appear that we are not it. It says that there's 2 allies left, but I wouldn't consider the knife murderer to be an ally of mine. I think that he would qualify as an enemy. He is out to get me, and if he does so, I will hit him with a very short length of pipe. I think that if I was going to kill somebody with a length of pipe, I would select a longer piece for that, and if I'm ever brought up on an actual murder charge in real life, I hope they won't look at that clip as evidence and say, well, clearly he said that he was going to hit somebody with a longer piece of pipe, and so clearly he committed this real-life murder. But maybe that won't happen. Maybe if we can avoid that situation entirely, I think we'll be better off in the long run as well as the short run. Here's a grate. Now I wonder if we can crawl through this, but it doesn't seem like it wants to let us do that. And I think we found our murderer, or maybe just an ally who thinks that we're the murderer. Somebody's calling for help, and it should be me, to be honest with you. I was the one who was attacked. I did nothing to provoke that. He was... Okay, so we don't want to stick around the crime scene, as it were. Again, I hope that won't be used against me in a future court proceeding about a real murder trial, that I'm the kind of guy who flees a murder scene. I think that the way that he changes his costume would lead me to believe that he is, in fact, the murderer. That seems like the kind of deception in which a murderer would engage. I don't think that one of my real allies would change his colors like that. I might have to just bash his fucking brains in with a lead pipe. A shorter length of lead pipe than I'd like to use. Curious about what this other piece of shit is doing here. He doesn't really seem to be contributing much to the dialogue that we have going here. His connection, it might be Mexican, as Skull Tag players tend to be, and their internet connections tend to be as well. I just took a little bit of damage there. Hopefully not too much damage, because we would like to... Okay, now I'm being shot at by a fucking faggot. I don't really understand, really the dynamics of that situation. I feel like I was doing the right thing, and it didn't pay off for me. I tried to kill the murderer, and got murdered myself. I got in a few good pipe hits, and I got shot by one of my own allies. It seems like there really is no love in the heart of the city, or in the heart of this particular Doom modification, which is whodunit for the Skulltag engine. Noobs everywhere. Again, I don't feel as though my performance there necessarily was all that noobish. I did not wind up winning, but I don't feel that it was my fault when you consider that I was turned on by... One of them had to be my real ally. When you think about the situation, there was only one knife murderer, and they couldn't have both been my enemy, and yet I was attacked by both. So I feel like we played it about as well as we could have, given that situation, and sometimes the cards, as they were, just don't fall the way that you would like them fucking to. So this was the whodunit modification for Doom, the Skulltag. Oh, let's see if one of these... Before we go, let's see who the murderer is. I think it's this guy. I feel like the guy wearing an orange or a yellow... I'm just going to let him do this, and hopefully they'll be able to see firsthand who the murderer really is, and it will be of... my death will be of use to somebody. Maybe we'll try and beat this guy up and see if we can pull that off. Everybody seems to have a gun except for me in this, and that's kind of one of the troubling aspects of this game, is that it's Doom, but you don't have a gun. They don't give you one, or they don't give me one. I guess this is one of those 3D floors that my software renderer doesn't display. Anyway, we're just about fucking done with this modification. Whodunit for the Skulltag engine, Doom. More next time on Doom Mod Mania.